Kevin Knecht right here. Today we are going to learn how to purchase a domain name and how to forward that vanity domain name of yours to one of your Empower Network splash pages. So first things first, let's have you log into your Empower Network back office area. So of course you go to empowernetwork.com/login.php and type in your username and password. It'll come up. And then I'm going to take you to your My Tools area.
Right,
Under My Tools, you'll see that Empower, depending on when you watch this video, there may be more choices here, but right now there are 3 choices. These are splash pages, so these are where leads will come to find out more about Empower Network. So I'll click on one. Here's the first one right here. And then I'll click on another so you can see what this looks like. And here's the second one real quick. And then the third one is right here as well, and you can see these, and you can stop the video if you want to go back and see what each one says. That's cool. But what I want to show you here what to do is how to purchase a domain name, because right now I don't know if you can see this type up here real quick. If you want to give this URL out to somebody, it's a hassle to say, hey, go to empowernetwork.com/weirdrecruitingtrick.php !ID equals your ID name. Right? It's a lot easier to say, hey, why don't you go to getpeopleaddicted.com, right? And somebody can write that down. You can put that into an ad much easier. So real simple. So how do I purchase a domain name, Kevin? Well, great question. Here's a site that we've been using for years. If you go on your web browser to growrichdomains.com, if you type it in right now, www.growrichdomains.com, and you'll get to this very website right here. And then you'll see you can start a domain search right here. You can type in the domain that you're looking for. So you can pick anything and see if it's available first. Obviously, you can't buy a domain name if somebody else wants it. So I'm actually purchasing a domain name for this new site. I'm going to use getpeopleaddicted.com. And before I got on here, I knew it was available. So I'm going to type right here the name to see if it's available. So I'll type it in here, click on search, and if it's available, of course, it'll come up on the next screen saying, yes, it's available, just $9.99 per year. So I'm actually going to show you exactly how to purchase a domain name. There are lots of options and bells and whistles. The only thing that I recommend is that you buy the domain name, and then I also recommend you have a privatization of your domain. Otherwise, then anybody can search and get your personal home address and your phone number and your email address, and you don't necessarily want that hanging out there on the internet for everybody to see. So I'm going to choose the name right here. So I added that here. So now on this screen, I'm going to continue the registration. And depending on when you watch this video, the screen may be a little bit different. And of course, they'll try and upsell you, right? You can buy .org, .net, .info. I don't think you need to have those. So skip those. Just say no thank you and go on to the next screen. And now we're going to register the domain name, so you can go for either 2 years, 1 year. You can buy it a year at a time. Doesn't really matter. And then you're going to choose whether or not you want to have a standard registration, privacy with business, protected registration. This isn't where you buy the privacy. So here you can stick with right here. This is all you require. So go to next. And then we're already up to step 4, activate your domain. Now you can add email addresses, which I would recommend if you're buying your own domain name. Like I own kevinknecht.com, and we also, Melissa and I own kevinandmelissa.com. So we actually have emails related to that, so the emails come to both of us. So if you want to add emails, you can do that right here, 5 email addresses or 10 email addresses. Website and hosting, for this with the Empower Network, you don't require any hosting, so you can skip that. And so basically we'd skip everything on this page. And we'll go on to the next page. And it's going to tell me I have domain names expiring soon because I'm actually logged into my account. So I'll splice this out of the video later, or maybe I'll just keep it. But anyway, no thanks. We'll skip that right now. And next we're going to see here. So here we are at the very end. And you'll see here we have public right here and private right here. We want to register. We want to have private. And it'll even tell you why. By registering your domain, you reduce the risk of losing your domain name and avoid future price increases. Oh no, that's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for the private. I'll have to edit that out too. So no worries. All right, so we're just about done here. We chose private, and you can choose the email if you want to add the email. I don't need it in this particular case. So how did I end up with more in my cart? Oh, I chose the email first, so I want to get that out of there. I want to delete that because I was trying to show you guys. So my order is going to be $19.17, which is probably what yours will be as well. Okay, so we're going to continue to checkout and simply, purchase with your credit card, PayPal, check, however you pay. Now, since I'm already using my account, I can already just register right here. I have everything in here already, so I can agree to the terms, and I can place the order now. And it should be pretty seamless right there. Boom shakalaka, there you go. Okay, and now what I'm going to show you next is how to go to your account. Now I may have to shoot another video for this right now if you're a new user, but basically the way you're going to get into your account with this service is you're going to go back out. I'll log out here and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to go back to my domain right here. Go to growrichdomains.com, type it in again. And our username and password is right here. So we'll click on go. Oops. Let me try it again. Maybe I had the wrong password in there. Okay, it worked that time. So now it's going to, it's showing all of our domain names, and we have 18 right now. So I'm going to look for the domain name that we own, that we just, right here, Get People Addicted. So I'm going to go to the screen right here, and I'm going to choose the URL that I'm looking to forward. And now I'm going to do two things right here. On this screen, you're going to look for forwarding right here. The forwarding is currently off, so we're going to turn the forwarding on by pushing this Manage button right here. That'll take us to another screen right here. And now we're going to forward, and here's where we're going to type in that URL for that page. So if we go back to here, this is the URL I'm going to use. So we're up here and copy and paste. So right-click, copy, and then I'll go back to where I was. Oops, where am I? Right here. And I'll put in that URL. And I'll go back here, and you have to take out the HTTP. You may want to do that. Just make a note of that here. And then you can actually preview to make sure you're going to link it up here correctly. And you'll see it'll pop into the box. There it is. And press OK. Now, one thing I'll recommend here, if you guys are advanced users, you have the option to get some masking right here. However, in this case, I don't recommend you get the masking because it may affect the cookie feature on here. So that way, when people come into your site and they opt in through you, that cookie will save. I've heard that if you mask your title here, that cookie may not work correctly, and if people end up on somebody else's page, they may get signed up with that person. So not necessary in this case to get forwarding, or not to get masking, I should say. So there we go. Okay. So now we're done. And it takes about an hour. Sometimes it happens in just a few minutes. But we'll check back here in a few minutes, and we'll type in the new URL that we just purchased, and it will probably be right there. I'm going to pause the recording right here, and I'll come back, and we'll tie it all together. Okay, guys? We'll be right back. All right, we're back for part 2, guys, to check and make sure the domain name is now hooked up here. So we're going to do a couple of things on this video. Number one, we're going to check and make sure the video or the new link goes to our Empower Network splash page, and then we're going to type in a test email address to be sure it's received in your Aweber account. Now, if you've not yet set up your Aweber account, we've got a video to show you exactly how to do that next. If none of that makes sense, stay tuned. And finally, we're going to give some tips on how to think of a domain name, such as how to buy your first and last name.com if available, and how to buy a business name related to Empower. And to check and see, there are certain tips that I want to give you here on this video. So let's do this first. First thing, we're going to go back here. We're going to type in, what's the name of the URL? GetPeopleAddicted.com. Right there. There we go. And look at that. It goes right there. It took about 15 minutes, and sometimes it takes an hour or two for that to happen. So good. We got that to work. And now number 2, we're going to test it. We're going to test this out with an email address and make sure we have this set up correctly. So I'm going to go into this is a test at thisisatest.com and get immediate access. And yes, it's working there now. Okay. And I'll click off this page because we don't want to watch the video right now. And what we can do to see if it's working is log into your Empower back office, which I'm going to do. Oh, I'm already logged in here. I didn't have to do my username and password. Maybe I did. Well, let me go here. And let's go to My Tools, and let's check View Leads. And if we go all the way to the end here, the last page, we'll see the very last, this is a test.com. Okay, great, so it's working. Fantastic. So there we have it. We see it's working now. So now we can go on to step number 3.
Hey, welcome. This is David
in how to buy, turn these guys off here. And how to buy a domain name if you're having some challenges with buying a domain name. Here's what I want to tell you guys here. First, let's go back to growrichdomains.com. All right, so the first thing I recommend you do is think about buying your first and last name. Like, for example, I'll type in my name, kevinknecht.com, and obviously that's taken. I've already purchased it, but let me show you what the screen looks like. See, it's already taken, so it's going to tell you some alternatives down here, like differences like pre, post, un, kevinknechtlee.com. That's interesting. There are lots of different ideas. Like you could type in, now you see up here .com is not available, but .info, .net, .org, .biz. So let's say your name was Kevin Knecht also. You could actually buy any of these other ones. But I really recommend you stay away from buying anything other than .com, especially, let's say, for example, if you want to have something like besthomebusiness.com, and let's type that in and see what happens. That's taken, of course, right? So actually, most of these are taken already. Back order. This means, oh, for this one, see, this means premium right here. You can actually buy this, but you have to pay an arm and a leg to have that, which I wouldn't recommend. You don't want to pay thousands of dollars for a domain name. But here's the point. If somebody owns besthomebusiness.com and you go and buy besthomebusiness.net, more than likely, you're going to be sending traffic to that other person's website. So you want to be very careful. And other tips I recommend for you, some keywords that I think are good to have when you're thinking of a website. You want to use words like your wealth connection, your empowered life. Words that speak to your prospect. You don't want to say, something you don't want to say is my home biz rocks. Because if I'm your prospect and I come across your website, I'm going to think, well, great. Mary's website, Mary's business might rock, but how does that help me? Now, if Mary's website, you being Mary, of course, says your home business, now I, as the reader here, can kind of put myself in the situation. So think of the word tracks that you want to use in a URL. We could do a whole training on that, but just a couple of tips to keep in mind. The other thing I want you to keep in mind when you're looking for a domain name is, again, you want the .com 99% of the time. Now, sometimes there are cases where you can type in a URL and it doesn't really go anywhere when you go to the .com. I'm trying to think if there are any examples I can think of off the top of my head. A domain name we used to own was growrichtoday.com years ago. It's already taken, for example, and you can buy growrichtoday.info. But let's type in and see where growrichtoday.com goes to. This goes to some home business website. So this is something you would not want to compete with. So I would not recommend you buy the .info, for example, even though it's available, because you'd probably be sending traffic to this guy's site. So there, you can have, do you understand what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So that's all I have for right now with domain names. Just have fun with it. Hey guys, Kevin Knecht with you one more time here. I apologize for the abruptness of the video right there. I was going to go into a whole different topic, but decided this is suffice for this video. So in short, here's what this video was designed to show you how to do. How to purchase a domain name, what to think about when you're thinking of a name, and also how to connect it with your Empower Network links so you can now start your advertising. And if you have any more questions on how to link the websites directly, you may want to pick up the phone and call Grow Rich Domains and let them know that what you're trying to do, and they're happy to assist you and maybe can look things over for you as well. Okay, so Kevin Knecht signing off for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.